Want to learn your target language for free? Then get our language gifts of the month right now, before they expire. Here's what you're getting this month. First, the Using Transportation Conversation Cheat Sheet. Do you know how to get around in your target language? You can learn how. This new cheat sheet teaches you must-know vocabulary and phrases, like where can I buy a ticket? How much is the train pass? And much more. Second, the Ultimate Guide to Beginner Language ebook. Want a free way to boost your vocabulary? With this new PDF ebook, you'll master over 500 beginner words and phrases, more than enough to start speaking the language with confidence. Third, can you talk about holiday accommodations in your target language? Learn how to say hotel, guest house, inn, and much more with this quick vocab bonus. Fourth, most common ways to say sorry. Do you know all the ways to apologize in your target language? This 1-minute lesson will get them in your head, guaranteed. Fifth, free language learning audiobooks for anyone who sees this video. If you watch this far, then here's a free bonus. We're giving all of our users free access to our huge library of language learning audiobooks. Save them to your device and listen and learn. They're yours to keep forever. And finally, the deal of the month. If you want to finally master the language with lessons by real teachers and our complete language learning program, get 40% off Premium or Premium Plus with the Epic sale. To get your gifts and language learning resources, click the link in the description below. Download them right now before they expire. Hi everybody, my name is Alicia. In this lesson, I'm going to talk about the differences between amid, among, and between. I'm also going to talk a little bit about some old-fashioned uses of these words too. Let's get started. All right, I want to begin this lesson by talking about the word amid. So amid refers to being surrounded by something, and it refers to being in a condition. So when we use the word amid, it's not like we're talking about many different objects, but rather we're talking about being in a condition or being in a situation. So you can imagine yourself surrounded by a condition or being inside a condition. That's when we use this word. The second point is that amid is a rather formal word. From these words I'm going to talk about today, amid is the most formal. You may also know the word amidst. This is quite formal and we really don't use it that much. It sounds kind of archaic, which means old-fashioned or like old-style English. You might see this word in like poems or in maybe books that were written a long time ago. We don't use this word very much today, but amid generally does sound more formal, more polite. We use amid then with uncountable nouns, and these uncountable nouns are often like abstract nouns. So they're often like an idea or a concept instead of an object specifically. So let's take a look at a few examples of this. First one. I lost my keys amid the confusion at the end of the party. So here, amid comes before the noun, the confusion. So confusion, this is not an object, this is an abstract noun, this is an idea, confusion, a confused condition. So we imagine being inside this confusing situation or this condition of confusion, I lost my keys. So we use it in this way. So it's like an abstract kind of concept. We're not talking about being inside like a physical thing, but we're inside like a concept. Let's look at one more example. Her nervousness disappeared amid the excitement of the party. So here, my noun is excitement, the excitement of the party. So we imagine being at a party, and it's an exciting condition. So we can say excitement, so amid the excitement means being inside the condition of an exciting situation. Her nervousness disappeared. So that means she was nervous before the party, maybe, but because she was inside this condition of excitement, amid the excitement, her nervous feelings disappeared. Her nervousness disappeared because she was in this condition. Okay, one more example. They chose to cancel our project amid growing concern about the company budget. Here, my noun is concern, growing concern. So we can use concern as both a singular and as a plural form, like in the singular and in the plural form. But here, I'm using concern as like an abstract idea. So that doesn't mean like a specific person's concern or a specific person's like problem, but I'm talking specifically, or rather non-specifically, about like everybody's, like the whole company's idea or the whole company's like worry about a situation. So we can use concern in this way. Here, I've added this modifying word too, growing concern. So I'm showing that the concern in the company is getting bigger. So inside this situation, inside like increasing or growing concern, in this situation, our project was canceled, or they chose to cancel our project. So because of this growing concern about the company budget in this case. So you'll notice in each of these, I'm using this very abstract idea. So confusion, excitement, or concern. I'm not talking about like an object here. So you'll notice amid usually follows something similar. We're using these very conceptual nouns with amid. Okay, so with that in mind, with our very formal word in mind, I want to continue to the next word for this lesson, which is among, among. So I have 2 points here, because there are kind of 2 common ways that we use among, a couple patterns that are common. First, we use among when we want to refer to being surrounded by things. So this is different from amid. Remember, we used amid to talk about a condition or a situation. Here, among is more used for objects or maybe other people. So these are actual, like tangible. We can touch these things. They're not abstract. Second, we use among when we're like talking about having many options. So when we refer to having many options or refer to having many choices. So when there are many different things to choose from, we often use the word among to kind of make our question. I'll show you an example of this. Okay, among is less formal than amid. So you will probably see this more commonly, or you'll see this more often than the word amid. Like amid, as we talked about with amidst, this kind of old-fashioned, archaic word, among also has one. The word is amongst, but just like with amidst, this word is not used very much and it can sound quite old-fashioned. So it's going to sound like contemporary, modern, regular English today if you use among. So don't worry about using amongst. You may see it from time to time, but it has an older feel about it. Okay, when we're using the word among then, we use it with countable nouns in the plural form. This is how you'll see it used. So let's take a look at some examples of this. First, he spent a year living among monks at a temple. So here I have among. My noun is monks, monks. So these are people who live at temples in this case. And we see here with the S, I'm using the plural form. So monk is a countable noun, and the plural form takes an S here. So he spent a year living among. So this means he was one person and he was surrounded by monks at a temple. So among tells us this. Among tells us this situation. We would not say amid here because amid plus this countable noun that's like people sounds unnatural. It doesn't sound right. We use amid to talk about conditions. So among sounds much better because we're talking about people or objects, and he, in this case, is one from those people that he's surrounded by. Let's look at another example. We saw a dog among the people in the crowd. So a dog among, in this case, my noun is the people, the people. So we can use among to refer to like groups of people. We can use it to talk about like a class or a crowd or a team, for example. So we understand that that's a group, yes, but it's made up of individuals. So it sounds quite natural to use that. Here we have the people. In this case, it's a crowd of people. So we know that there are many people, and the dog is one object or one creature that's inside this group. So a dog among people. Again, we would not use amid here, amid the people. It sounds better to use among because we want to emphasize the individuals there in the group. Okay. Finally, I want to end with an example that shows us point 2 that I talked about when we have many options or choices. So here I've made a simple sentence, a simple question. From among these classes, which do you think is the most useful? From among these classes. So imagine in this case, maybe you're showing someone a book or some kind of guide from your university or a school, and you're asking for a recommendation, and you point, from these classes. Maybe you're looking at a group of classes, and you say, from these, specifically, like this group, which do you think is the most useful? So we use among in this case when we're talking about many choices. So we're not talking about two, actually. We use between for two, which I will talk about in just a moment. But when you have a group of things to choose from, you can use among to ask someone a question, like from among these classes or from among these flavors, which do you like the best? So if you have a large number of something, like more than 2, or like 3, 4, 5, that's fine. You can use among. I've also put from in parentheses here. Sometimes native speakers will drop the from here. You'll hear among these classes, or well, as we'll talk about later, we see the same thing with between. But you might hear this part either very short, like from, or you might hear it dropped completely, like from among these classes, which do you think is the most useful? So we can use this when we're asking for recommendations, we're asking for preferences. So this is how we use among. All right, let's continue on to the last word for this lesson, which is between. So between also has 2 points I want to talk about today. The first is it refers to being in the middle of 2 other things. So if I imagine like I want to make a sentence about the blue marker, I can say the blue marker is between the red markers. So this refers to being in the middle of 2 other objects. So this is point 1. Second, we use it when we're making decisions from 2 options. So I mentioned when we talked about among that we use among when we have like a group of options. We have many options. If, however, you have 2 options, you can use between to make the question, to ask about a preference or to ask for a recommendation. So between can be casual or it can be formal. It just depends on the situation. It depends on the conversation. And something special about between, we can use between with this pattern, this to plus a plural noun. I'll show you an example of this. So first, I want to talk about point 1 here, some examples with point 1. First, I dropped my wallet between the desk and the wall, between the desk and the wall. So here there are 2 things, 2 nouns, the desk and the wall. So that means the wallet is in the middle of those 2 objects. If my desk is here and the wall is here, my wallet is in the middle of those 2. So I dropped my wallet between A and B in this case. So that shows us something is in the middle of something else. Second, this uses this kind of to pattern I mentioned. We parked our car between 2 Ferraris. So here, this follows a different pattern. Between 2, And Ferraris, this is in the plural form. So a Ferrari is an expensive car, a sports car. So here I'm using 2 Ferraris. So this shows that on both sides of our car, there was a Ferrari. So one on this side and one on this side. So it sounds better to say 2 Ferraris than we parked our car between a Ferrari and a Ferrari. That sounds a little bit unnatural. Instead, we would say, I parked my car between 2 Ferraris. So if they are the same thing, if both sides are the same thing, you can use this 2 plus the plural noun pattern. Okay, finally, about point number 2 here. When you're making a decision or you're trying to ask for a recommendation or something, we can use this between pattern, very similar to among. So the sentence is, from between these 2 colors, which do you think is better for the room? So imagine you're choosing paint for a room. From between these 2 colors, which do you think is better? So we use between when there are 2 options. So like from between these, which do you like best? Or from between these flavors, which do you think is spicier? So we use this between for 2 choices, and we use among more for like many choices, 3 or more. So again, with between, you'll often hear people drop this from and just begin by saying, between these 2, which do you like? So you can choose to include from or not. It's quite casual to drop the from at the beginning of a sentence like this. So if you have 2 choices, it sounds really nice to use between to offer those choices, to introduce them. Okay, so I hope that that helps you understand the differences between amid and among and between. If you have any questions, or if you have comments, or if you want to practice making an example sentence with these words, please feel free to do so in the comment section of this video. Of course, if you like the video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel if you haven't already, and check us out at EnglishClass101.com for some other things that can help you with your English studies. Thanks very much for watching this lesson, and I will see you again soon. Bye-bye. Hi everybody, my name is Alicia. In this lesson, I'm going to talk about the differences between make and do. I'm going to talk about the key points when we should choose which verb. So I want to start by looking at the verb make. Let's look over here. First, the most important point I think about this verb is that we use make to talk about creating something. So when we use make, it's to talk about something that was not there before. So we are like creating something new. So when we use the verb make, it's not just an action, but there's something new happening. There's some kind of creation-related activity happening. So I want to look at a couple of very common examples of the ways that we use the verb make. First, we commonly use it when we're talking about cooking. So we can use this before like meal titles. For example, make breakfast, make lunch, or make dinner, make coffee as well. We are creating something new. So we are making that thing. That's why we use make, referring to creation. You can also use a specific food name here, like make pasta or make a cake, make cookies. So we use make a lot to talk about creating food or creating drinks, like make a cocktail or make a smoothie as well. So something new is happening through our actions. Another common one is the expression make an appointment. Make an appointment. So when we call or we maybe make a reservation or make an appointment online, we are creating something new. So before that action, there was no appointment. Now there is an appointment. Now there is a reservation as well. So we make an appointment. We create an appointment. The next one, make a video. So for kind of creative related jobs, like for example now, I am making a video, I'm creating something. So when you write things or maybe post things online, you could say I'm going to like make some content, or I'm going to make a video, or maybe I'm going to make a photo gallery, for example. So you're creating something new. if you want to talk about your writing, it does sound a little more natural to say, for example, write a blog post or like write an essay. So if you can be very specific about your verb choice, it's good to use that, like write something. But in general, in these cases, like making like photos or making a photo gallery rather, you can use the verb make to talk about that, to make a video. Okay. On to the next one, another common one, to make a friend, to make a friend. So this really means to make like a friendship, but we use the expression make a friend, make a friend. So when you meet a new person, you can say, I made a friend. Another one, make an outline. So I included this one because I was thinking about work-related expressions. So an outline is like a rough idea of something, the rough idea of like a presentation or a new project, to make an outline, to create an outline. You could use this same kind of phrasing with like presentations, like to make a presentation. You will also hear give a presentation, but you might hear make a presentation. So make a presentation, make an outline, make a design for something, make a template. So again, all of these refer to creating something that was not there before. So you're creating something new. We use the verb make. Next one is make time, to make time. This is an interesting and very common expression. So actually this means, yes, we're creating time, but not like time in space. We're creating time in our schedule. So that means if I have maybe a lot of things in my schedule, I have a lot of appointments, I made a lot of appointments, I made a lot of reservations, I cancel something, or I find some time in my schedule to do an activity. So that's called making time. I want to make time. So I'm not actually creating time itself, but I'm creating time in my schedule. So opening some time in my schedule. We use the expression make time to talk about that. Next one is make preparations for. Make preparations for. This is kind of a formal expression, but we use this to talk about like periods before events or periods before like big projects. Like we're making preparations for a party. We're making preparations for a presentation. So to make preparations for means like you're getting everything ready to do something else. So this is kind of a useful one, a useful expression when you have lots of little things to take care of and you don't want to express everything individually. You can just say make preparations for, or more casually, get ready for. But this is nice for business, I feel. Okay, the second point I want to talk about inside this make point is about how we use the verb make to talk about actions caused by something else. So you can kind of think of this again as like something is being created, yes. In this case, it's going to be like someone else's action is being created or someone else's emotion is being created. So the pattern that we see here, in this case, I'm using someone, to make someone cry here with the verb, or to make someone work. So we can use a verb in this pattern, like to make someone cry or to make someone work means to cause that person to cry or to cause a person to work, to force someone. So these are kind of like, you can think of these as like actions that have been created. So one person caused another person to cry. It's like that was created. That's kind of how you can imagine make is being used here. We can also use adjectives here, like to make someone happy, or to make someone sad, or to make someone angry. Another way to say this is to cause someone to be sad, to cause someone to be happy, to cause someone to be angry. So again, we're creating an emotion in another person. So all of these examples relate to creating something. That's really a key point with this verb, with make. Okay, So let's compare this then to the verb do. The verb do is used to talk about an action or an activity, but we're not actually creating anything. It's like we're going through a motion. We're just taking a simple action, but maybe nothing new is coming from the action. Let's look at some common examples. Very useful for students and maybe for people working. Do homework, or like do reports. I have to do some reports, or I have to do some grading if you're a teacher. To do homework. Homework, maybe you can think, well, aren't I creating something? It's more like we're completing something. So do homework is kind of a very general set expression that's like just a task I have to do for school. So to do homework or to do a report, it's just like a set task. I need to complete this task. So maybe it's not like I'm creating anything. Maybe if like inside your homework you have to make something, you can say that. Like, oh, I need to do my homework. I have to make a model. You could be specific about your homework, but if you want to talk generally about your homework, just use do homework. Okay, another common one is do the dishes. To do the dishes just means to wash the dishes. You can choose do the dishes or wash the dishes. We do not use make the dishes here because to make dishes would mean to create the actual dish, which is not the case. Here we're just washing dishes. So to do the dishes is a very common one. We use do a lot for household chores, actually, like do the vacuuming, or like do the washing for clothes, as we'll see a little bit later. So you'll hear this for some everyday household tasks as well. Another one, do a presentation. I'm gonna do a presentation about something. You might also hear give a presentation. I also mentioned over here, like make an outline. I mentioned make a presentation too. When we use make a presentation, it sounds more like creating the content for the presentation. Like if you use the verb make, it sounds maybe like you're talking about creating the things you're going to say, or like the pictures, imagery, data. You're making your presentation content. And then when you have finished that, you can say, I'm doing a presentation tomorrow, or I'm giving a presentation tomorrow about this thing. So maybe make a presentation comes first, do the presentation or give the presentation comes next, like actually speaking. So you might hear do or give a presentation at work. Another one is for sports, do exercises, do exercises. You'll also hear, I've used exercises, yes. You'll also hear do used with sports, like sports that don't use like a ball. So for example, like to do yoga. Yoga is like not a ball sport. It's kind of an activity-related sport, so we use do to talk about that. We do not use do basketball or do soccer or do tennis. We use play for those. So if you want to talk about those kinds of sports that maybe don't use a ball, or it's not like a team sport, but it's just like activity-related, like do exercises or do aerobics is another one, you can use do to talk about that. Okay, another one, I've got two here actually, is to do one's hair or to do one's nails. So to do in this case means to style one's hair, like to do your hair. But we imagine when we use do for hair that it's like your everyday style. Like you wake up, brush your teeth, and do your hair. So it just means you fix your hair to make it nice for the day. So it doesn't always mean like a big fancy style, but it can just mean like your everyday hairstyle, to do your hair. For nails then, to do your nails means to paint your nails usually. So do your nails is quite common. We don't really say style your nails actually. You can also use the verb have, like I'm going to have a manicure, or get, I'm going to get a manicure. So you can use that for your fingernails or your toenails as well. To do your nails usually means color. To get a manicure can mean color or no color. So this is common in beauty then too. So to do your hair, to do your nails. Okay, Another one is to do a puzzle. So we might see this in like games and other kind of activities related to that. To do a puzzle. You might think that a puzzle would use make, like make a puzzle, because we're creating a picture, kind of. But we use do because it's like the puzzle has already been created. We're just putting the pieces together. So we are doing a puzzle. You can also use this for other like word games, like to do a crossword puzzle. That's something else that we use this with, another game. So if you like to do that kind of thing, you can use do to talk about it. I mentioned then do the laundry. So I mentioned that this is commonly used with household chores. So do the laundry is another example. So I think maybe British English uses do the washing. In American English, we use do the laundry, which means wash clothes. So to do the laundry is another do expression. I want to end then with this point to say that this is just as like an example of how sometimes do could be used in a way that seems confusing. So I talked over here about the expression like make breakfast, make lunch, make dinner. But another common expression is do breakfast or do lunch or do dinner. So what does that mean? So here, this question, the answer is it means to go to a restaurant. So the speaker is not actually creating the food there. It's usually used for a meeting. So like you go to a restaurant or you go to a coffee shop and you have a meeting there, and you can informally, casually invite someone to the meeting with you by saying, do lunch. Like, let's do lunch, let's do coffee, let's do dinner. It often sounds like some kind of informal meeting. So using do in this way kind of creates a casual feel, and there's no like feeling of creating anything. It's more like an activity. So you can kind of imagine that do is more for activities, make is for creating things. Okay, so this is an introduction to the key ways in which do and make are different. As I said, keep in mind make is used to talk about creating things. There are other ways to use these verbs, yes, but I wanted to introduce some common examples of the ways that they're used in everyday life. So I hope that this was helpful, but if you have any questions or comments, or if you want to practice making some sentences in the comment section of this video, please feel free to do so. Of course, if you liked the video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and please check us out at EnglishClass101.com for some other things that can help you with your English studies. Thanks very much for watching this lesson, and I will see you again soon. Bye-bye. Hi everybody, my name is Alicia. In this lesson, I'm going to talk about the adjective bad, and I'm going to talk about some adjectives that are like leveled up versions of the word bad. So I'm going to introduce a lot of adjectives that have like deeper meanings of bad, and I'm going to share some example sentences. So first, I want to introduce the way I've presented this material. So this is what's called an adjective wheel. So inside this wheel, this circle, there are lots of adjectives. I separated them into groups, and so we're going to see how all of the groups mean similar things, but we're going to explore the small differences in meaning. So I want to start with this part of the wheel. So at the center is the word bad, our focus word. I want to begin with this part. We're going to focus on these three words to begin. So from the center, the next word out is the word decayed. This is an adjective. All of these are adjectives. And outside of decayed, there are two more words. So here in this group, we have decayed, rotten, and spoiled. So this is R-O-T-T-E-N, rotten. But in American English, we usually pronounce it as rotten, rotten. Spoiled is pronounced as it is spelled, spoiled. You may also hear this word pronounced in British English and perhaps Australian English as spoilt, spoilt, with a T sound at the end. So, decayed. The root here is decay, which means that something is very old, or maybe it's dead, and it's becoming like in a worse state than originally. Spoiled and rotten share a meaning, which means that something is like maybe growing mold, like in your refrigerator, or it's no longer safe to eat, as with food. We can also use this word to talk about like children who have had like too much good stuff, like too much candy or too much money or too much fun. They expect too many fun things. So it's something that was maybe good before, but now is not good. So these are things that are spoiled or rotten. Let's look at how we use these words in sentences. You'll notice a theme here. First, let's look at the word decayed. We found a decayed animal next to the road. So a decayed animal, this means that the animal is dead, and that means the body is decomposing. So to decompose means it's not like an animal shape anymore. The body is slowly breaking into small pieces. So it has like this really disgusting image, a decayed animal. Another word, rotten. So in this sentence, I've used this, ew. Ew is a way that we express disgust casually, ew. So ew, there's rotten food in your fridge. So rotten food means the food is not safe to eat. The food smells bad. Something is rotten. There's rotten food in your fridge. And I think this milk is spoiled. I think this milk is spoiled. So these two words, when you're talking about food, you can use them in the same way. Like, I think this milk is rotten, or, ew, there's spoiled food in your fridge. You can use both of those in the same way. So we use these a lot to talk about food and drinks. Decay tends to sound a little more serious, like maybe it's maybe after like a natural disaster, like a person maybe, or like an animal, something that maybe sounds a little more severe. We might use decay for that. So this is our first group in this adjective wheel. Let's move on to this next part over here, these three words. The words are stressful, unpleasant, and troubling. Stressful, unpleasant, and troubling. So stressful, we see inside this word is stress, stress. So something that causes us to feel stress is stressful. In this word, unpleasant, we see un meaning not and pleasant. So pleasant means a good thing, something we enjoy, but unpleasant means not enjoyable, something we do not enjoy. And finally, troubling. Something is troubling. So trouble is here in this word. So that means it causes us to sense trouble. So maybe we don't feel trouble, but maybe we feel concerned or we feel worried. So let's look at how we use these words in sentences. First, let's look at stressful. Moving to a new house is so stressful. So it causes us stress. Now let's look at unpleasant. Here, that meeting was really unpleasant. So it was not enjoyable. Maybe someone had an argument or there was a big disagreement. That meeting was really unpleasant, so not good, and causing stress as well. Third, troubling. There was troubling information in the company report. So troubling means like we have a sense that trouble is happening or there's some trouble somewhere. So it's trouble and like stress. It causes us stress and we sense trouble. So troubling and unpleasant are not necessarily the same thing. So the meeting was maybe unpleasant, but it might not have been troubling. Maybe there was no sense of like trouble or a problem. It was just not a good meeting. Maybe people were unhappy. So these are kind of related, similar adjectives, but not quite the same. Okay. Let's continue on to this group at the bottom of the wheel. This group here of three, the base kind of here for this group is poor quality, poor quality. So poor quality means not good quality. So for example, things that are maybe very cheap are sometimes poor quality, or things that we make very quickly are poor quality. The other two words in this group are the very casual crappy. Some people might consider crappy a curse word, so please be careful. You might hear crappy or crummy. Crummy is good to use if you're worried about this sounding like a swear word. Crummy is spelled C-R-U-M-M-Y, crummy. Or you might hear cheap also. A more polite word to use, especially at work, is unsatisfactory. Unsatisfactory. So let's look at how to use these words. First, poor quality. For example, my phone case is really poor quality, So that means maybe it breaks easily, or it doesn't protect my phone, or it scratches really easily, for example. So my phone case is really poor quality. Let's move on then to crappy. So crappy, as I said, has like a very casual meaning about it. So something that's crappy sounds really, really low. We can also use it to describe our feelings, like I feel really crappy today. Here, in my example sentence, I bought a super crappy pair of shoes online. So here I've also used the modifier super. So super also indicates it's a very casual situation. So we use this word mostly among close friends, and we don't use it in polite situations. So crappy means extremely poor quality, very low quality. Finally, let's look at this word, unsatisfactory, unsatisfactory. And if we break this word down, we see the prefix here, un, combined with satisfactory. The root here is the word satisfy. So satisfy, to satisfy, means like to be pleased with something, to be happy about something. So this means not satisfied with something, not happy about something, in relationship to quality as well. Okay, so in an example sentence, your sales performance this quarter was unsatisfactory. It was unsatisfactory, so that means your performance was of poor quality, but that means that it's like something that we were not satisfied by. So it was not good, but this is a polite way to say, like, we wish you had done better, for example. Okay, so that's this bottom group here that relates to poor quality, a poor quality meaning. Let's move on to the next group then, this group here. So the base word in this group is mean, mean. So mean is very commonly used among kids for someone who is being unkind. Someone is unkind, we can say that person is mean. After mean, I have these two words, which are evil and corrupt. So evil often refers to like characters in stories. So someone who is, we could say, very bad, like the bad guy, or like the villain in a story is often considered evil. So someone who is evil is like 100% bad. So they want to do mean things or unkind things or terrible things. Corrupt is a bit different. Corrupt is used a lot in the real world to talk about real world people and real world situations, not just characters in stories. Corrupt means that someone is influenced in a negative way. So often like they're taking money or they're taking favors in exchange for a service, exchange for something. So let's look at how we use these adjectives. First, with mean, a common example is something like this. Kids might say, why are you being so mean? So why are you being so unkind? So maybe a child would say this to like their parent when told they can't do something. Why are you being so mean? Here, with the use of evil, a question. Do you think Darth Vader was truly an evil character? So evil means, do you really think that he was 100% bad? So evil here, as I said, relates a lot to like stories and storytelling. Finally, the word corrupt. In this example sentence, many people think politicians are corrupt. So that means, again, exchanging something like money or favors in exchange for another favor, in this case in politics. So these all kind of relate to unkindness, being unkind or being mean as an extension of bad. Okay, finally then, this last group here, these three words, the base here is harmful, harmful, so causing harm. Here we see full at the end of harm, as we saw with stressful here. So these words refer to causing that thing, causing stress and causing harm here. So harmful means something that causes us like to feel maybe in danger, or it causes harm, as I said. So within that idea, there are two adjectives. First is dangerous. So the root here is danger. So something that could be like potentially unsafe for people's health or to their body. And the other word is detrimental, detrimental. So here we have detriment inside this word, which means like it causes a loss in some way. So it causes like a reduction of some kind, a decrease of some kind in something. So let's look at how we use these in sentences. First is harmful. Secondhand smoke is harmful to people's health. So again, it causes harm, it causes damage to people's health. Second is the word dangerous. In this example, don't drive so fast. It's dangerous. It's unsafe to drive so fast. And finally, detrimental. He gave a terrible speech last year. It was detrimental to his career. This is a common way that we use detrimental. So we follow detrimental with your preposition to. So detrimental to what? This shows us it was detrimental, meaning it caused a loss. And this part here, after the adjective, explains what was reduced or what decreased because of this other thing. So in this case, his career kind of decreased, or he lost maybe something good about his career. It caused damage to his career. So we use this pattern, detrimental to something, to explain that. Okay, so that's the final group there. But this is a quick introduction to just actually a few words that mean bad. There are a lot more words, but you can check a thesaurus to see some more examples and to get a few more example sentences as well. So you can check out a lot more words that mean bad, but these are some good ways, I think, to start leveling up your use of this adjective. So if you have any questions or comments, or if you want to practice making an example sentence with one of these words, please feel free to do so in the comment section of this video. Of course, if you liked this lesson, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel if you have not already, and check us out at EnglishClass101.com for some other things that can help you with your English studies. Thanks very much for watching this lesson, and I will see you again soon. Bye-bye. Hi everybody, my name is Alicia. In this lesson, I'm going to talk about a way to level up your adjectives. This lesson, I'm going to focus on the word good. So with good as the base adjective for this lesson, I'm going to talk about some other adjectives that share the meaning of the word good, but that have kind of a deeper or a more specific meaning of this word. So let's get started. For this lesson, I'm going to use what's called an adjective wheel. So the layout for this is our base adjective is in the middle of the wheel, in this case, good. And in the next layer, there are kind of these additional adjectives that have a slightly deeper meaning than just good. Finally, on the outermost layer, on this outside layer of the wheel, there are even more specific adjectives. So the aim of this lesson is to help you understand some differences between these kinds of adjectives and to give you some example situations where you might use these words. So I want to begin with this part of the wheel here. So the first sort of more specific adjective, the first deeper adjective is the word pleasant. Pleasant. This is the pronunciation. Something that is pleasant is good, is nice, is favorable. We have a good feeling about it. It's used for situations, and it kind of sounds a little bit formal. Within pleasant, I have these two adjectives. They are superb, superb, and wonderful, wonderful. So something that is superb, maybe you can see here, the root here, we have the word super in the middle. Super plus B, superb, superb. So superb sounds much more formal than super, and we use it for something that is really good, that is very pleasant, and it also sounds a little bit formal. The other word here, wonderful. If we break this word down, we can imagine this means wonder plus full, meaning full of wonder, or causing us to feel full of wonder. So this expresses something happy, something positive, again, something pleasant. This is less formal than pleasant or superb. So let's look at some example sentences that use these adjectives. Okay, first one. Have a pleasant stay. Have a pleasant stay. This is something you would hear at a hotel or another kind of accommodations place. Have a pleasant stay. Like I said, this word is a little bit more formal. So it sounds quite natural to use in polite situations or in like customer-staff relationships. The next example sentence, dinner last night was superb. Dinner last night was superb. So we want to express kind of formally that dinner was good, but a better word than good is superb. Using superb here suggests that the dinner was very, very good and maybe kind of expensive, maybe somewhat formal. So we use superb in more formal situations. Finally, I'm happy to have lots of wonderful friends. So here, we're using this in kind of a more casual situation. We're talking about friendship. So our wonderful friends. So that means they're great people. They're really, really good people. We can use wonderful to express that naturally, yes, and it sounds better than just good friends. So wonderful like shows that they're amazing, they're fantastic. Also words that mean wonderful. Okay, let's move on to the next section of this wheel. Let's move on to this part right here, these three adjectives. The first word, the base word here is useful, useful. So again, we can kind of take the same approach we took to wonderful and break this word down. Useful means something that is full of uses. So that means we can use it for something, and that's a good thing. The next word here is talented, talented. So someone who has a talent. We use this adjective for people. Someone who has a talent or who has a skill. And we tend to use this to mean that that person therefore is useful. So it's a good thing to be talented. Finally, in this section, the word reliable, reliable. So here we see this able, or the pronunciation in this case is able, meaning able to do something, like it's possible to do something. And the base here, the spelling is a bit different, but the base here is rely, to rely, like the verb to rely. So someone who it is possible to rely on, or we can trust that person. We do not say trustable, we say reliable, or we could say trustworthy if you want. But reliable, so someone or something we can rely on. Let's look at some examples with these words then. First, useful. I hope this lesson is useful. I hope this lesson is useful, meaning I hope that inside this lesson you find something you can use. You find something useful. This lesson is useful. The second example sentence, I heard that guy isn't very reliable. I heard that guy isn't very reliable. So here I'm using the negative. He isn't very reliable. That means maybe we can't rely on him. So it's not a good idea to rely on him. So reliable is typically a good thing. So if you or something in your life is not reliable, that's a negative thing. Finally, we have a talented team. We have a talented team. So here, team refers to a team of people. A talented team means a lot of people or a group of people who have talents. So this could be multiple talents, it could be the same talent, whatever. A talented team. So a very positive comment. Okay, let's move along to this part, the bottom part of the wheel here. This part, the base is the word beneficial, beneficial. So here, the root here is benefit, benefit. So it's like we receive something good. We get a benefit. When we want to express this in the adjective form, we call something beneficial, beneficial. The other two words here are advantageous, advantageous, and profitable, profitable. The first word here, advantageous, this is kind of interesting because the pronunciation changes a little bit. We have the noun advantage, advantage. When we pronounce this adjective though, we say advantageous, advantageous. So the emphasis comes on this advantage syllable, advantageous, instead of advantage, as in the noun form. So please be careful of this. So an advantageous thing is something that gives us an advantage. So we get like a higher position somehow. We get a good position or a better position than someone else or than something else. This word here, profitable, the root here we have profit, and then again we see able here at the end, so possible to. So profit plus able means something that will maybe possibly give us profit. So profit is money. So we get money from something. So let's take a look at some example sentences that use these. Let's start with the word beneficial. Here, our new healthcare plan will be beneficial for millions of people. So beneficial for millions of people means millions of people will get a benefit. They will get something good because of this healthcare plan. So this will be beneficial for millions of people. The second example sentence, this contract is advantageous for both of our companies. This means, in this case, this contract, this document or this agreement gives this company, Company A, and Company B an advantage. It's good for both companies. Finally, the third example sentence, we expect our new product line to be quite profitable, quite profitable. So here I've used quite to modify profitable. This means very. Quite means very. Be careful, it is not quiet or quit, but quite profitable. So this means we expect our new product line will help us get lots of money. So profitable means it's going to bring in money in some way. You may notice too that these example sentences are in like business situations or more formal situations. So these words here might be very useful in more business English settings. So these words all sound a little bit more formal. We don't use these so much in everyday conversation, though they're common in the news and other kind of like meeting and planning related discussions. Okay, let's move on to this next group here. The next part, the base is perfect, the word perfect. So perfect means there's no problems with it, or it's just right. So just right means it fits a situation or it suits a situation. So it's exactly as needed. Inside perfect then, there are these two words, pure and flawless. So pure means that it is untainted, something that is untainted. So untainted means like it's not dirty, or there's never been a problem with it, or it's exactly as it was when it was created. We'll see an example of this in a moment. Flawless, we can break this word down into flaw and less. So less means having none of something, no of something, zero of something. So no flaws. So a flaw means a problem or like some kind of damage or some issue, something negative. So no flaws in something. So let's see some examples of how to use these words. First, wow, this cake is perfect. This cake is perfect. So you might use this at like a children's birthday party, for example. Oh, this cake is perfect. That means like it's great for the party. It's exactly what we need for the party. Or maybe the cake is very well made. So the flavor is perfect, you could say. This cake is perfect can have a few different meanings, but you can be specific about what you want to say by maybe changing this part here. Wow, this cake tastes perfect, or this cake is perfect for the party. But more generally, you could just say, this cake is perfect. So perfect just shows you feel like it's just right. It's exactly as needed. Okay, the second example sentence is a question, actually. Is this pure fruit juice? Is this pure fruit juice? So this means, is this 100% fruit juice? Is this natural, 100% natural fruit juice? So maybe you've seen at supermarkets, sometimes there's fruit juice that's like 20% fruit juice or 30% fruit juice. So that's not pure fruit juice. If you want to express something that is pure, so nothing is added to it, nothing has been changed, you can use pure to talk about that. Like many people will say like, oh, children are so pure, you know, like they're unchanged, so they're still learning. There's no like damage, nothing has been added to children. So like children are so pure, for example. Finally, this one with flawless. He did a flawless backflip. So a backflip means jumping in the air and flipping backwards. So a flawless backflip means he did this trick perfectly. So that means there was no problem with it. It was exactly correct. It was flawless. We would not say a pure backflip. We wouldn't say that because a backflip is like kind of a skill. So we tend to use pure more for things that are like maybe like for people or for things that are naturally created. We use flawless for things related to like our skills or our abilities. So we would not use that pure here, and we would not use flawless in front of fruit juice. So kind of try to remember pure is more for natural things, flawless is for skills and abilities. Okay. Let's move on to the final group here. The final three, the base is the word real, real. So of course there's the word real, which means like true, like something in reality, in the real world, in the actual world. So we can use real more specifically with these two words. First is legitimate, legitimate. We often shorten this word to legit. Legit. This is a very casual word, but it's very commonly used. So legitimate means true or correct or real, yes, but it's often used in like business or in like people's relationships to mean sincere or like legal or correct. I'll show an example of this in a moment. Finally, this adjective is proper. So proper also means correct, but it means like as expected. So something that is real is true, yes, and then proper means like it's as it should be. It's supposed to be that way. Okay, so let's look at some example sentences. First, have you ever seen a real dinosaur skeleton? So this means, because we have real included here, it's like saying not a fake skeleton, so not a plastic skeleton, but a true skeleton, a real one. So this was actually a dinosaur in the past. Have you ever seen a real dinosaur skeleton? The second example sentence uses legitimate, or we could say legit as well. I'm not sure he's running a legitimate business. This means I'm not sure this person is running means operating. So I'm not sure this person is running a legit business, means I don't think like his business is legal. So when you see legitimate or legit used to talk about business, it's a question of legality. Is the business legal, or is there maybe something that's going on maybe behind closed doors that we can't see? So legitimate with business is often talking about this kind of uncertainty. So we can use legit or legitimate to express that. Finally then, proper. It's important to eat 3 proper meals a day. So here, a proper meal refers to a like well-balanced, nutritious meal. So something that we expect, something that is like supposed to be a meal. We should eat that thing. So that means a proper meal is not like junk food, is not something unhealthy. It's lots of like fresh vegetables or fresh fruits or something. So that's a proper meal, something correct, something that is as it is expected to be. That's proper. Okay, so this is just an introduction to a few more words that mean good. So there are actually quite a few words that mean good, but I hope that this gives you kind of a good basis for some of the different ways that we can use this word and like some more specific adjectives that you can choose to better describe yourself and to describe your situations. So I hope that this was helpful. Of course, if you have questions or comments, or if you want to practice making a sentence with any of these words, please feel free to do so in the comment section of this video. Of course, if you like this lesson, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel if you haven't already, and check us out at EnglishClass101.com for some other things that can help you with your English studies. Thanks very much for watching this lesson, and I will see you again soon. Bye-bye. Hi everybody, my name is Alicia. In this lesson, I'm going to talk about some expressions that you can use when you feel tired. Let's get started. Okay, the first expression is the basic expression, the most basic expression, I'm tired. I'm tired. So tired here is an adjective, and we therefore need to use I am tired. Here I have the contracted I'm tired. I notice sometimes learners say, I tired, or I see it sometimes in writing, like in comments on YouTube, I tired or I sleepy. Please make sure to use I'm tired, I'm tired, I'm tired. So we use I'm tired. It's kind of our basic expression we use usually at the end of the day. So we finished work, or we finished school, we finished some kind of activity, and it's nighttime, it's evening. So we use it maybe after playing sports or some kind of strenuous. So strenuous means it requires a lot of physical effort. So we use this at the end of activities. We use it after work, after school, just after a long day. I'm tired. It's a casual expression. Very common. It means like just your body is tired or your mind is tired also. So you could use it after a test, like, oh, I'm tired, maybe mentally tired. So mentally refers to your mind. Okay, let's move on to the next expression then. Next is I'm exhausted. I'm exhausted. So the pronunciation of this word, this EXH makes an ex. So this EX sounds like egg, actually. It's making like a G sound almost. So not exhausted, but exhausted, exhausted. I'm exhausted. Exhausted means very tired. Exhausted means very tired. I'm exhausted. So this expression is stronger than I'm tired. Oops, I have a mistake there. I'm tired. So I'm tired is like the basic level. I'm exhausted means like I am extremely tired. I'm very tired. Maybe I had a very long day or a very busy day. I'm exhausted. So we would use this after maybe a particularly difficult day, or maybe like we've just run a marathon or done some really strenuous activity. So I'm exhausted is another very common word that we use. You can also use this to talk about someone else if they seem like they had a long day. You can say, you look exhausted, for example. That's going to sound really, really strong though. So you look tired and you look exhausted are a little bit different, but exhausted shows like there's a lot of like effort that went into your day perhaps. Okay, so I'm tired and I'm exhausted are two good words to know, good phrases. Let's move on to this one. I'm beat. I'm beat. I'm beat is a very casual way to say I'm tired. So beat. This comes from the verb to beat. So to hit something is what to beat can mean. So for example, like to beat a drum means to hit a drum. So when we say I'm beat, it's like saying I have been hit, like something hit me. Not physically, but it's like today, like there were so many things to do today, or I had so many activities to do. I feel like my body or my mind has been hit, has been beaten. So we use this expression, I'm beat, to mean I'm very tired. But it's a very casual expression. So when we say I'm beat, it's like a rough, kind of friendly version of I'm exhausted. But I'm beat, we might say like after like a day of happy activities, like maybe after snowboarding or skiing, or maybe we're spending lots of time with friends, but we feel tired. we could say, I'm beat. I'm beat. So it means the same thing as I'm tired, really, or I'm exhausted. It means I'm very tired, or I'm quite tired, but it sounds friendly, it sounds rough, it sounds casual. So I'm beat, I'm tired, I'm exhausted are great expressions to know. Let's move on to the next one then. I'm sleepy. I'm sleepy. So you can see here, sleep is inside this word sleepy. So this word is more specific than these three. I'm tired, I'm exhausted, and I'm beat. These are kind of general words. They can mean, like, I'm sleepy, I feel a little sleepy. But this word, sleepy, is specifically related to sleep. So I'm sleepy means not just that you want to relax, which is like with tired, but I'm sleepy specifically means you want to sleep. I'm sleepy. So as a result, this is something I've heard learners use the words I'm sleepy in lessons. So we tend to use I'm sleepy more like at the end of the day as we're preparing to go to bed. Like I'm a little sleepy, maybe at the end of the day, or perhaps at the very beginning of the day. Like when you get to the office or you get to school, you might say, I'm a little sleepy today, or I feel sleepy today. But sometimes I would ask my students, like, how are you in lessons? And they would say, I'm sleepy. And that's okay. I mean, like, there's no communication error, but I think in the middle of the day, we might say, I'm a little tired, or maybe I'm a little sleepy, to make it a little bit softer. I feel like we tend to use this more at the very beginning or at the very end of the day, like just after we wake up or just before we go to bed. So try to use it in a softer way, like I'm a little bit sleepy. Maybe after lunch, you could use this if you had a big lunch. But sleepy, it tends to sound like you are ready to go to sleep. So as a result, we don't use this so much in like work settings, like in a meeting, for example, or when you're speaking with your colleagues, you might say tired instead of sleepy, because we can't go to sleep in the office in most cases. So sleepy refers specifically to wanting to go to sleep. I'm ready for sleep is what it means. Okay, so let's move on to a related phrase then, which is this. I'm ready for bed. I'm ready for bed. So this is a less direct way to say I'm sleepy. I have it written here as well. This is less direct than I'm sleepy. So you can use this to show you are tired or to show you are sleepy and you are preparing to go to bed. So this, I'm ready for bed, or I'm ready to go to bed. You could use that as well. I feel I'm ready for bed is a little more common. So that means I'm ready to go to sleep. That means I'm tired, I'm sleepy, I'm ready. I'm at that point in the day when it's time. I'm ready to go to bed. I'm ready to sleep, in other words. So we use this instead. I'm ready for bed, or I'm ready for sleep. I feel I'm ready for bed is a little more common though. So I'm sleepy, I'm ready for bed. You could put those two together if you like. So again, a little bit less direct, just I'm ready for bed at the end of the day. Okay, let's move on to the next expression. Next, actually, this is an idiom, a very common idiom. There are two variations I want to introduce here. First, I'm gonna hit the hay, and second, I'm gonna hit the sack. So these two right here, these are the idioms. Hit the hay or hit the sack. Hit the hay or hit the sack. So here we see hit. The verb hit is in both of these expressions. Hit here means like your body physically hitting, physically contacting another object. So what is hay? What is sack here? These two things have kind of like historical references to the way that we slept in the past, or rather the materials we slept on in the past. So in the past, hay hay was used inside of things like we use mattresses today, but maybe mattresses today don't have hay inside them. Hay is used to feed like cows and horses and other farm animals. So it's like long, kind of rough pieces of fiber. So hay was used inside cloth to make softer sleeping surfaces. So this was used to create something like a big sack. So a sack is like a bag, a rough bag. So to hitch the hay refers to putting your body on top of hay or hay inside a cloth that made a soft sleeping surface. Or this one, hit the sack, refers to that mattress-like object that our bodies land on to go to sleep. So that's where these expressions come from, hit the hay and hit the sack. And this I'm gonna is just I'm going to. So this means I'm going to go to bed. That's all that this means. I'm going to go to bed. Both of these mean the same thing. So to refresh, these are both idioms that just mean go to bed. I'm gonna go to bed. I'm gonna hit the hay, I'm gonna hit the sack. That's what this refers to. These have a couple of interesting historical points behind them. Okay, let's move on to the next one. The next one and an alternative. It is I've gotta, call it a day. Call it a day. So I want to focus on this one, call it a day. So I have here I've gotta. This is I have got to. I have got to. Or you might hear native speakers say I gotta. We often drop this v sound, but we should use it. I've gotta call it a day, or I have to call it a day. Another way we use this expression is I'm gonna call it a day. So again, I'm gonna means I'm going to. I'm going to call it a day. I'm going to call it a day, or I have to call it a day. I've gotta call it a day. So what does this call it a day mean? So call it a day is used to mean to decide the day is finished. So to call it a day means at this point in my day, usually in the evening, we say this phrase, we decide I'm done. Today is finished, I'm done, I feel tired. So I'm going to decide today is finished here. So we can say to decide the day is finished for this phrase, or just to end the day. So we use this when we are finishing our activities for the day and we feel tired. So this means we use this expression when we are finishing work or when we're finishing like homework, school activities, or sports. We sometimes use this before bed, a little bit before bed, I suppose, but this is more commonly used when we are completing our activities for the day. So that's why we say call it a day. Like today's work or today's progress is finished right here. I'm going to call this point one day. So I'm going to call this activity that I did today one day. So I'm going to call it a day, or I have to call it a day. We would use I have to call it a day more often when like there's something else we have to do. So like maybe you have a dinner appointment. So you could say, sorry, I have to call it a day. Like that means I have to finish here, maybe because I have another appointment. I have to call it a day. That sounds maybe more like there's some other thing you need to do. Otherwise, you can say, I'm going to call it a day. So I'm going to finish today here. So these are a few expressions that you can use when you are tired, or when you're sleepy, or when you're finishing your activities for the day. So I hope that this was helpful for you. Of course, if you have questions or comments, or if you want to practice these, or if you have an interesting idiom or expression in your language that you use when you feel tired, please share it with everyone in the comment section. Also, if you liked this video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Remember to subscribe to our channel if you have not subscribed already. We really appreciate it. And check us out for more things at EnglishClass101.com that can hopefully help you with your English studies. Thanks very much for watching this lesson, and I will see you again soon. Bye-bye.
Kettle, kettle, kettle. A kettle is something that you use to heat up water. You might also hear this called a teapot. The kettle is on the stove. The kettle is on the stove. The kettle is on the stove. Pot. 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 A pot is something we use in the kitchen. It's usually big and round, and we use it for soups and stews. That pot is 10 years old. That pot is 10 years old. That pot is 10 years old. Frog. 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 A frog is a small creature. They're typically green, and we can see them around lakes and rivers. The green frog is in the water. The green frog is in the water. The green frog is in the water. Pigeon. 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 A pigeon is a very common bird. They're very well known in big cities and in town centers as kind of a nuisance or a pest. Don't feed the pigeons. Don't feed the pigeons. Don't feed the pigeons. Guidebook. 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 A guidebook is a book that is intended to be used as a guide. We can use guidebooks for restaurants, for travel, for many different topics. A guidebook will give you helpful information for your trip. A guidebook will give you helpful information for your trip. A guidebook will give you helpful information for your trip. Entrance. 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 An entrance is a place usually in a building where you can enter the space. Where's the entrance? Where's the entrance? Where's the entrance? Tour guide. Tour guide. Tour guide. A tour guide is someone who leads a tour. They are the person responsible for guiding the people on the tour. Meet your tour guide at the entrance to the hotel. Meet your tour guide at the entrance to the hotel. Meet your tour guide at the entrance to the hotel. Reservation. 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 A reservation is an appointment. We use the word reservation when we're talking about restaurants, hotels, and flight tickets as well. Do you have a reservation? Do you have a reservation? Do you have a reservation? Passport. 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 A passport is a special document given by your country that allows you to travel internationally. It's ID. The passport has expired. The passport has expired. The passport has expired. Computer science. Computer science. Computer science. Computer science is a topic of study. It's the use of computers and science together. Computer science classes are on Mondays. Computer science classes are on Mondays. Computer science classes are on Mondays. Math. 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 Math is the short form of the word mathematics. It can refer to very simple mathematics or complicated mathematics. My favorite subject in school is math. My favorite subject in school is math. My favorite subject in school is math. Feel. 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 The verb feel can be used to talk about the sensation of touching something, or it can be used to express our emotions. I feel wonderful tonight. I feel wonderful tonight. I feel wonderful tonight. Draw. 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 The verb draw is the verb that we use to refer to making a picture. So we use a pen or a pencil or something else to create a picture. The artist draws a picture. The artist draws a picture. The artist draws a picture. Plan. 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 Plan can be used as a verb or as a noun. As a verb, it means to create a schedule for something. We'll plan the holiday to Europe. We'll plan the holiday to Europe. We'll plan the holiday to Europe. Sail. 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 Sail is a noun. It refers to a discount. It's often used when shopping to refer to a place where you can receive a discount. There's a big sale in the shoe department. There's a big sale in the shoe department. There's a big sale in the shoe department. Shopping. 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 Shopping can be used as a noun. It can also be a verb in the progressive form. It refers to going out to a mall or a department store to look for something to buy. I love shopping for clothes. I love shopping for clothes. I love shopping for clothes. Fourth. 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 Fourth comes after third, which is after second and first. It refers to the number 4 of something. For my 4th birthday, my mother gave me a book. For my 4th birthday, my mother gave me a book. For my 4th birthday, my mother gave me a book. Fifth. 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 Fifth refers to the number 5 of something. It comes after 4th. You live on the 5th floor, don't you? You live on the 5th floor, don't you? You live on the 5th floor, don't you? Sixth. 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 So sixth refers to the number 6 of something. This is a really good word to practice some pronunciation. Slow down that sixth, that middle part there. The 6th book from the left. The 6th book from the left. The 6th book from the left. Seventh. 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 Seventh refers to the number 7 of something. This is just like the word 7, but with th at the end. Please read the 7th paragraph of the contract. Please read the 7th paragraph of the contract. Please read the 7th paragraph of the contract. Conditioner. 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 Conditioner is something we use for hair care. We usually use it after shampoo. This makes our hair shiny and soft. Rinse with conditioner. Rinse with conditioner. Rinse with conditioner. Deodorant. 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 Deodorant is something that we use to help prevent unpleasant smells coming from our body. He bought a new deodorant. He bought a new deodorant. He bought a new deodorant. Liquid soap. Liquid soap. Liquid soap. So liquid soap refers to soap that is in liquid form. This is different from something like bar soap, which is solid. Do you have liquid soap? Do you have liquid soap? Do you have liquid soap? Duck. 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 Duck, as a noun, refers to a very common bird. Usually you'll find them at parks, ponds, lakes, and so on. The ducklings follow the mother duck. The ducklings follow the mother duck. The ducklings follow the mother duck. Crow, crow, crow. A crow is a very common bird. It's all black and it's often very noisy. Crows are among the smartest birds. Crows are among the smartest birds. Crows are among the smartest birds. Cockroach, cockroach, cockroach. A cockroach is a very small creature. It's a dirty pest, and usually people don't want them in their house. A cockroach has 6 legs, wings, and antenna. A cockroach has 6 legs, wings, and antenna. A cockroach has 6 legs, wings, and antenna. Mosquito, mosquito, mosquito. A mosquito is a very small bug. Most people know them because they'll land on you, bite you, and it becomes very itchy afterwards. Dragonflies eat mosquitoes. Dragonflies eat mosquitoes. Dragonflies eat mosquitoes. Construction worker, construction worker, construction worker. A construction worker is someone who works on a construction site, which means a place where a building is being made or some kind of maintenance is happening. The construction worker is measuring wood. The construction worker is measuring wood. The construction worker is measuring wood. Homemaker, homemaker, homemaker. A homemaker is a person who usually stays in the home to take care of kids, to take care of the home, to prepare meals, and so on. Men and women can be homemakers. The hardest worker anywhere is the homemaker. The hardest worker anywhere is the homemaker. The hardest worker anywhere is the homemaker. Ice, ice, ice. Ice is frozen water. We usually like to drink it in summer to make our drinks cold. Ice has formed on the window. Ice has formed on the window. Ice has formed on the window. History, history, history. History refers to the past. It's a topic of study in school. We learn all about the things that happened in the past. You can learn a lot from history, as things tend to repeat themselves. You can learn a lot from history, as things tend to repeat themselves. You can learn a lot from history, as things tend to repeat themselves. Geography, geography. Geography. Geography refers to the study of the world. This means memorizing the names of countries and the positions of countries, or even cities, states, regions, and so on. She did not like to study geography. She did not like to study geography. She did not like to study geography. Store, store, store. A store refers to any place that sells something. There are many different types of stores, like supermarkets or shoe stores and so on. A store is the general word. I'm going to the store to buy some milk and eggs. I'm going to the store to buy some milk and eggs. I'm going to the store to buy some milk and eggs. Market, market, market. A market is a place, often outdoors, where individual sellers can sell things to their customers. We buy our fruits and vegetables at the local market. We buy our fruits and vegetables at the local market. We buy our fruits and vegetables at the local market. Price, price, price. Price is a noun. It refers to the cost of something in a store. What is the price? What is the price? What is the price? Coupon. 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 A coupon is something on paper or in some cases digital that you can use to get a discount for a product. I have a coupon for 50% off, so let's eat there. I have a coupon for 50% off, so let's eat there. I have a coupon for 50% off, so let's eat there. Aisle. 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 An aisle is the open space between two rows of things. For example, like rows of seats on an airplane or between shelves in a supermarket. The open space is the aisle. I would like to sit in an aisle seat in case there is an emergency. I would like to sit in an aisle seat in case there is an emergency. I would like to sit in an aisle seat in case there is an emergency. Bag. 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 A bag refers to something that we use to carry things. It can be big or small. My bag is too heavy. My bag is too heavy. My bag is too heavy. Photograph. 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 A photograph is a picture. This word is a noun. Photograph and picture generally refer to the same thing. Photograph might sound a little more formal. This photograph doesn't look good. This photograph doesn't look good. This photograph doesn't look good. Soda. 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 Soda refers to a drink that has bubbles in it. It is a non-alcoholic drink. You might also hear it called pop. Soda contains a lot of sugar. Soda contains a lot of sugar. Soda contains a lot of sugar. Ninth. 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 Ninth refers to the number 9 of something. Ramadan is the 9th month of the Muslim year. Ramadan is the 9th month of the Muslim year. Ramadan is the 9th month of the Muslim year. 10th. 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 10th refers to the number 10 of something. We can use this in schedules, in tournaments, whatever. I finally made a goal on my 10th attempt. I finally made a goal on my 10th attempt. I finally made a goal on my 10th attempt. 8th. 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 8th refers to the number 8 of something. The pronunciation might be a little tricky, so be careful with this one. I live on the 8th floor. I live on the 8th floor. I live on the 8th floor. Shaving razor. Shaving razor. Shaving razor. A shaving razor is a razor used specifically for shaving hair. This could be on the face or on other parts of the body. Disposable shaving razor. Disposable shaving razor. Disposable shaving razor. Washcloth. 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 A washcloth is a noun, and it refers to a cloth we specifically use for washing the body. The boy is washing his face with a washcloth. The boy is washing his face with a washcloth. The boy is washing his face with a washcloth. Towel. 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 A towel is a cloth that we use to dry things usually. These can be very large, like to take to the beach, or very small, like for drying our hands. This towel is too small for me. This towel is too small for me. This towel is too small for me. Spoon. 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 A spoon is something we use to eat. It's a curved eating utensil, and we usually use it to eat soups or stews or ice cream, those kinds of things. Forks, spoons, and knives are eating utensils. Forks, spoons, and knives are eating utensils. Forks, spoons, and knives are eating utensils. Fork. 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 A fork is a utensil we use that has prongs at the end. So this is useful for picking things up, like stabbing things and picking things up. The fork is made of plastic. The fork is made of plastic. The fork is made of plastic. Knife. 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 A knife is a utensil we use to cut food. It's usually very sharp. Could you pass me the knife? Could you pass me the knife? Could you pass me the knife? Plate. 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 A plate is something that we use to hold our food. It's a flat object. After we finish cooking food, we put it on a plate. This plate is different from that one. This plate is different from that one. This plate is different from that one. Bee. 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 A bee is a very common creature. Lots of people are afraid of them. Some people have allergies to them. Bees make honey. The bee is pollinating the yellow flower. The bee is pollinating the yellow flower. The bee is pollinating the yellow flower. Ant. 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 An ant is a very common creature. They are very, very small and they live in the ground. Usually you see ants in big groups. Ants have 6 legs. Ants have 6 legs. Ants have 6 legs. Snake. 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 Snakes are creatures that we typically don't see in cities. You might see them out in forests, maybe in desert areas. Lots of people are afraid of snakes. The rattlesnake is coiled and ready to strike. The rattlesnake is coiled and ready to strike. The rattlesnake is coiled and ready to strike. Milk. 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 Milk is a very common and very popular drink. There are many different types of milk. Traditionally, milk came from cows or perhaps goats or sheep, but now there are types that come from nuts or soy and so on. Milk is an important source of calcium for kids and adults. Milk is an important source of calcium for kids and adults. Milk is an important source of calcium for kids and adults. Designer. 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 A designer is someone who has a design-related job. This could be a graphic designer, it could be an interior designer, it could be a fashion designer, someone who creates designs. She wants to become a fashion designer. She wants to become a fashion designer. She wants to become a fashion designer. Artist. 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 An artist is a person who creates art. Art can mean many different things. It could be music, it could be movies, it could be paintings, something you experience in a museum, many different things. Many artists struggle for a long time before achieving success. Many artists struggle for a long time before achieving success. Many artists struggle for a long time before achieving success. Soldier, soldier, soldier. A soldier is someone who is employed by the military. So their job is to participate in the military and work for the military. Sometimes this means fighting. The soldiers are moving into position. The soldiers are moving into position. The soldiers are moving into position. Entrepreneur, entrepreneur, entrepreneur. An entrepreneur refers to someone who starts a business. They usually have a big idea that's kind of unique. They have maybe very innovative ways to approach their work sometimes. Entrepreneurs change the world with their ideas. Entrepreneurs change the world with their ideas. Entrepreneurs change the world with their ideas. Short story, short story, short story. A short story is different from a novel, for example, because it has very few pages. It's easy to read and understand quickly. I read only short stories. I read only short stories. I read only short stories. Folder, folder, folder. A folder is something that we use to keep documents. This can be a physical folder, or it can be a digital folder. I'm sure you have many of these on your computer. I put the documents in a folder. I put the documents in a folder. I put the documents in a folder. Frying pan, frying pan, frying pan. A frying pan is a very common item to have in a kitchen. It's usually quite large and it has a handle on it. We use it to make eggs, pancakes, many different things. This frying pan is very cheap. This frying pan is very cheap. This frying pan is very cheap. Cutting board, cutting board, cutting board. A cutting board is as it sounds. It's a board that can be wood or plastic or maybe another material that we use to cut on. This is to keep our counters clean and safe. The cook is cutting a hard-boiled egg on the cutting board. The cook is cutting a hard-boiled egg on the cutting board. The cook is cutting a hard-boiled egg on the cutting board. Sink, sink, sink. A sink is a place where you wash your hands, or in the kitchen, a place where you wash your dishes. The sink is almost full. The sink is almost full. The sink is almost full. Bowl, bowl, bowl. A bowl is something that we use to eat soup or stew or perhaps ice cream, anything that is kind of liquid-like. The bowl is empty. The bowl is empty. The bowl is empty. Exit, exit, exit. The exit is the opposite of the entrance. An exit is a way out of somewhere. Where is the exit? Where is the exit? Where is the exit? Map, map, map. A map can be a physical item or a digital item. It's a guide to the area around us, or it can be a guide to a larger region, like a state, a city, or even the world. Check the map to find your way to your destination. Check the map to find your way to your destination. Check the map to find your way to your destination. Suitcase, suitcase, suitcase. A suitcase is something that we use to keep our belongings in when we travel. A suitcase can be very small or it can be very large. Do not leave valuables in your suitcase. Do not leave valuables in your suitcase. Do not leave valuables in your suitcase. Tourist, tourist, tourist. A tourist is someone who visits a city or a country just to see the sights. They don't live there, they're just there temporarily for a short time to enjoy famous places. The tourist is taking pictures of the animals. The tourist is taking pictures of the animals. The tourist is taking pictures of the animals. Politics, politics, politics. Politics refers to the government of a country or to the government of a world. It's a popular discussion topic. People like to talk about policies, about people, and about ideas relating to world governments. The politician is talking politics. The politician is talking politics. The politician is talking politics. Biology, biology. Biology. Biology is a subject of study. It's a subject in science. Biology refers to living things, to organisms, plants, animals, and creatures. Biology is the study of living organisms. Biology is the study of living organisms. Biology is the study of living organisms. Chemistry. 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 Chemistry is another subject of study, also a science. Chemistry looks at very, very small scale reactions between chemicals, gases, many different kinds of things. The laboratory is a place to learn about chemistry. The laboratory is a place to learn about chemistry. The laboratory is a place to learn about chemistry. Physics. 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 Physics is another topic in the science category. Physics looks at how we understand the world in terms of things like time and space and gravity. I know the basics of physics. I know the basics of physics. I know the basics of physics. Economics. 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 Economics is the study of the economy. So this refers to the money that comes and goes and moves around inside a country or around the world as well. Economics is a good background for many fields. Economics is a good background for many fields. Economics is a good background for many fields. Put. 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 Put is a verb. We can understand it as meaning to place, so it sounds a little bit less formal than place. Please try to put this box on the top shelf. Please try to put this box on the top shelf. Please try to put this box on the top shelf. Remember. 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 Remember is a verb. It means to recall information, to be able to think of something that you saw or heard or learned about in the past. I'll try to remember. I will try to remember. I will try to remember. Hold. 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 Hold is a verb which refers to keeping something, usually in your hand. Hold on to the handrail. Hold on to the handrail. Hold on to the handrail. Shopping cart. Shopping cart. Shopping cart. A shopping cart is something we use in the supermarket. They're generally kind of large. We can push them around the store and we put our items inside. The shopping cart is empty. The shopping cart is empty. The shopping cart is empty. Plastic bag. Plastic bag. Plastic bag. A plastic bag is the bag that we get from many stores like supermarkets or convenience stores or maybe other retail stores. We get a plastic bag after we purchase items. The man is carrying a plastic bag full of groceries. The man is carrying a plastic bag full of groceries. The man is carrying a plastic bag full of groceries. Comedy. 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 Comedy is an art form. It's the art of making people laugh. Comedy is also a movie genre. They're watching a comedy and laughing. They're watching a comedy and laughing. They're watching a comedy and laughing. Novel. 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 A novel is a type of book. It's a long story. So there are many different kinds of books. Books that are novels refer to these long stories, often with complex plots and interesting characters. I like suspense novels. I like suspense novels. I like suspense novels.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Monthly Review, the monthly show on language learning, where you discover new learning strategies, motivational tips, study tools, and resources. By the way, all the lessons and bonuses you're about to see can be downloaded for free on our website. So click the link in the description right now to sign up for your free lifetime account. Okay, today's topic is, are you focusing on only one skill? The 7 skills you'll need for language mastery. Are you the type of language learner that focuses on only one skill, like only speaking or only doing translation exercises? Then you may eventually realize that your language isn't progressing as fast as you'd like. So in today's episode, you'll learn 1. Why most language learners plateau, 2. The 7 skills you'll need for language mastery, and 3. How to practice the 7 skills with ART program. But first, here are this month's new lessons and resources. Be sure to download these now before we take them down in a few days. First, the Using Transportation Conversation Cheat Sheet. Do you know how to get around in your target language? You'll be able to. This new cheat sheet teaches you the must-know vocabulary and phrases, like where can I buy a ticket, how much is the train pass, and much more. Second, the Ultimate Guide to Beginner Language ebook. Want a free way to boost your vocabulary? With this new PDF ebook, you'll master over 500 beginner words and phrases, more than enough to start speaking the language with confidence. Third, can you talk about holiday accommodations in your target language? Learn how to say hotel, guest house, inn, and much more with this quick vocab bonus. Fourth, most common ways to say sorry. Do you know all the ways to apologize in your target language? This 1-minute lesson will get them in your head, guaranteed. To get your free resources, click the link in the description below right now. They're yours to keep forever. Okay, let's jump into today's topic. Are you focusing on only one skill? The 7 skills you'll need for language mastery. Part 1. Why most language learners plateau. If you observe other language learners, you'll notice that many learners just want to speak and understand the language, and as a result, they focus only on speaking and nothing else. Then you have learners who like to start with reading, so they spend most of their time there. And then there are learners who do translation games and spend most of their time there. All of these are good ways to approach a language, but what happens is learners that focus on speaking seem to speak well, but if you go outside of a topic they've practiced, they'll start struggling. Learners that spend most of their time reading are only good at reading and then wonder why they can't speak. And learners that have been playing translation games are good at translating, but don't understand real-life speech. The point is, you'll be unbalanced. If you focus on one skill and skip out on the rest, you'll never become truly fluent, or you'll be able to speak on a few topics you know about, but that's it. But that's not enough for conversational fluency. So, if you want to avoid this trap and become truly fluent, you should focus on 7 language skills: speaking, listening, reading, writing, grammar, vocabulary, and culture. Part 2. The 7 skills you'll need for language mastery. Now, someone might ask, what's the point of reading if I just want to speak the language? The fact is, all skills complement and improve one another. For example, if you're practicing reading, you naturally pick up new words and grammar rules along the way, which will help you with speaking, because if you want to speak more, you'll need to know more words and grammar rules. Also, reading out loud can help with speaking. If you're learning grammar, this will help you with speaking, listening, reading, and writing, because you'll need to be able to speak and use those grammar rules, understand them in written information and in speech, and use it in writing. With writing, again, you're reinforcing words and grammar rules that you'll also need for listening, speaking, and reading. With listening, there can be speaking involved if you shadow what you hear. You can also pick up words and reinforce grammar points as you listen. Then, you can use those same words and grammar rules later on, during speaking practice. All skills feed into each other. And with culture? With culture, you need things to talk about with native speakers, and culture is a great topic. Plus, in certain languages and cultures, you'll need to speak more politely to people who are older or more senior to you, so this involves learning vocabulary and grammar. There's also one more bonus to practicing all 7 language skills. Learning all 7 skills will actually help you learn the language much faster. Mixing up skills like this is called interleaving. Interleaving is a proven learning tactic where you use different forms of practice to master something. For example, if you're learning vocabulary, you can read it, then say it, write it out, study with flashcards, listen to a native speaker say it. And doing so will help you remember better, instead of just reading the word 5 times and hoping it sticks. It probably won't. So, let's recap. You should focus on the 7 skills of language learning because 1, you avoid being imbalanced, 2, all of these skills feed into each other and improve your overall language, and 3, it'll help you learn faster. Part 3, how you practice the 7 skills with our program. Now, if you want to take your language to the next level, you'll need to incorporate all 7 skills in your study routine: speaking, reading, writing, listening, vocab, grammar, and culture. So, here's how you can practice each skill with our learning program. One of the most unique things about our program is that you can actually practice all 7 skills with it. First, for speaking, shadow the conversations in our lesson dialogues. And if that's too hard, read the dialogues out loud and go slowly at your own pace. Use our voice recording tool to practice saying each line of the conversation. And you can send recordings of yourself to your Premium Plus teacher. For listening, simply take our lessons and listen to the conversations. You can also download the dialogue tracks and review the conversations without the translations. Also, be sure to take our listening comprehension lessons. For reading, listen to the audio and follow along with the lesson notes or transcript so that you don't miss a single word. You can also practice reading with our extensive reading books. For writing, write out the lesson dialogues and write out the words, phrases, and grammar rules that you come across. You can also try and create your own sample sentences, and you can send them to your Premium Plus teacher for corrections. For grammar, you'll come across grammar rules in our lessons. Write the rules down, try and create your own sentences, and keep taking the lessons and keep on reading. For vocabulary, use our spaced repetition flashcards to master the words. And of course, write them down in a notebook, say them out loud, and save them in the word bank so you can come back to them to review later. And for culture, take our lessons. You'll pick up culture tips along the way. Check out our culture class lessons as well. You can do 1 skill a day, or you can also try all of them in one study session. Listen to the lesson. Repeat what you hear for speaking practice. Write out the dialogue. Review the vocabulary with the slideshow. Practice the grammar rules and note down the cultural tips. Or focus on 2 skills a day. Pair up listening and speaking. The next day, do reading and writing, and then vocabulary and grammar, and then culture. And again, you can study all 7 of these skills with our program. So if you haven't done so yet, be sure to click the link below and sign up for a free lifetime account. So thank you for watching this episode of Monthly Review. Next time, we'll talk about how to write 1,000 words of your target language in 5 minutes a day with the Daily Dose Diary. If you enjoyed these tips, hit the like button, share the video with anyone who's trying to learn a language, and subscribe to our channel. We release new videos every week. And if you're ready to finally learn language the fast, fun, and easy way and start speaking from your very first lesson, get our complete learning program. Sign up for your free lifetime account right now. Click the link in the description. See you next time. Bye! One of the best ways to learn a language is with a native speaker. But what if you can't afford to take a class? Or what if you're too busy to learn on someone else's schedule? That's why with our program, you get access to your own teacher with a study tool called My Teacher, so you can learn with your own teacher at your own pace, anywhere, anytime. How does My Teacher work? You'll discover more in just a second. But first, to get access to our learning program and your very own teacher, click the link in the description and sign up for a Premium Plus account right now. What is My Teacher? My Teacher is a messenger tool that gives you access to your very own on-site teacher. You'll find it in the bottom right corner of your screen. And if you're on the app, just tap on the My Teacher icon at the bottom. So, how do you take advantage of this powerful language tool? 1. Get your language assessed. With language schools, you take a level check test on the first day, and the same thing happens here. The moment you become a Premium Plus member, you'll take an assessment test so that your teacher can determine your level, understand your weak points, and design a personalized learning plan. You'll find the link to the test inside My Teacher. Once you're done with the test, 2. Interact with your teacher, ask questions, and get feedback. Getting feedback and corrections is one of the fastest ways to improve. So open My Teacher and start interacting with your teacher. The first thing we ask you to do is to send a self-introduction in your target language as a way to get started. And if you're not sure how, just ask your teacher. You can also ask them language questions, send your writing, practice conversations, and they'll also send you feedback and corrections. You can do this all at your own pace on any device. You can also 3. Send recordings of yourself speaking the language. Just record yourself and send an audio file or video over, and get feedback from your teacher on your accent, pronunciation, and how to express yourself naturally, like a native speaker. You can also take a picture of your writing for feedback. 4. Improve your language skills non-stop with weekly assignments. Your teacher will also send you weekly assignments to test you on what you've learned and improve your language skills. Assignments cover speaking, listening, reading, and writing. So if you want to learn with your very own teacher at your own pace, then click the link in the description to sign up now and become a Premium Plus plan member today. You unlock our complete learning program, plus your very own teacher. Click the link in the description to sign up now. Great work! Here's a reward. Speed up your language learning with our PDF lessons. Get all of our best PDF cheat sheets and ebooks for free. Just click the link in the description.